Who comes out and sees you at these events?
Yeah, it's curious. It's crowds that range, sometimes they're in the hundreds, sometimes they're in the 50s of people. We go to small towns. All the districts we're going to currently have Republican incumbents. So we're in places that are flippable, but often that means we're in small towns that are represented by a Republican.
Okay.
And so the religious community in those places that would be supportive of a Democrat is a kind of a minority inside of a minority inside of a minority. So you're in Sioux Center, Iowa, and we had 150 people or so jammed into a little room in this event. And boy, those people are in Iowa, and they're in Sioux Center, Iowa, and they're religious people who often don't feel welcomed inside the Democratic Party. So it's a curious group of people that we find. And I'll just say this, and this is going to sound like I'm being a little negative on our crowds, but it's a little disappointing to see how many of the religious leaders are afraid to speak about politics in their faith communities. It is shocking. Conservatives don't have this problem.
No.
But for whatever reason, progressive religious leaders are overly cautious, and frankly, that's what they're glad to talk about policy, and they're glad to talk about the problems. But once someone asks them to comment on the people who set the policies that are creating these problems, they get quiet. And so part of what we're doing is having to invite the professional religious class into this, and they're often nervous to come. So I'll just say to any of your listeners, if they know a rabbi, if they know a pastor, a priest, anyone who organizes religious communities, an imam, we would love to have them. Mm-hmm. And one of the things we like to say to the Christian community is, if on Sunday, November 4th, you would read the Sermon on the Mount at your church, and then let that inform how you're going to vote on Tuesday, November 6th, I don't think you're going to be able to support the Republican agenda and the Trump administration with a clean conscience.